The kind of quiet evening where even the smallest sound carried for miles. And then there was a faint, desperate whimper. A young Mustang foal, barely more than a few weeks old, lay trembling in the dirt, its sides heaving with weak, shallow breaths. It had been separated from its herd, injured, and now it was dying. The wilderness is cruel and nature rarely shows mercy to the weak. But what happened next? No one could have predicted it. A rustle in the grass. The foal's ears twitched weakly, sensing movement. Then, a pair of piercing yellow eyes emerged from the shadows. An old wolf, its fur grizzled with age, its muzzle streaked with gray. A predator. A killer. The kind of creature that should have seen this foal as an easy meal. The foal shuddered, too weak to even try to run. This was how it would end. Not with a thundering herd, not under the open sky, but in the jaws of a hunter. But the wolf didn't attack. It stepped closer, sniffing the air. The foal let out a feeble cry, bracing for the end. But the wolf did something impossible. Something no one would believe unless they saw it with their own eyes. Instead of lunging, it lowered its head, gentle, almost cautious. Then, in a move that defied every law of nature, the wolf nudged the foal with its nose, as if urging it to move, to fight, to live. Why would a wolf spare a helpless foal? Was this some kind of trick? A cruel game before the kill? Or was there something deeper at play, something beyond instinct, beyond survival? The foal struggled, its legs wobbling as it tried to rise. The wolf watched, unblinking. And then, just as the foal managed to lift its head, a distant sound cut through the silence, a howl. Not from the old wolf, but from somewhere else, somewhere close. The wolf's ears pricked up, its body tensed, the foal froze. Something was coming, and whatever it was, it changed everything. The howl echoed again, closer this time, raw and hungry. The old wolf's hackles rose, its lips curling back in a silent snarl. This wasn't just any wolf, this was a challenger. A younger, stronger male, maybe even one driven out from its own pack, searching for territory or an easy kill. The foal sensed the shift in the air, its wide, dark eyes darting between the old wolf and the unseen threat lurking in the tall grass. Every muscle in its frail body trembled, caught between instinct and exhaustion. Run. It couldn't fight. It had no strength left. All it could do was wait. The old wolf turned its head, ears swiveling, glistening. It knew what that howl meant. In the wild, age meant weakness, and weakness meant death. This younger wolf wouldn't just take territory. It would eliminate any competition. And right now, standing over a defenseless foal, the old wolf was vulnerable. But instead of fleeing, it did something even more surprising. It stepped closer to the foal, positioning itself between the trembling Mustang and the direction of the howl, almost like it was protecting it. Why? That was the question burning like wildfire in anyone's mind who might have seen this unfold. Wolves don't protect Mustangs. They hunt them. They chase them down in packs, separating the weak from the herd. But this defied everything. Unless, memories flickered in the old wolf's gaze. Maybe it had once been part of a pack that no longer existed. Maybe it had lost its own kin, cubs, siblings to the same merciless wild that now threatened this foal. Or maybe, just maybe, it recognized something in the foal's struggle. A will to live that mirrored its own. A twig snapped, the grass shuddered. Then, silence, too quiet. The kind of quiet that meant danger was near, watching, waiting to strike. The foal let out a soft, panicked whinny, and the old wolf's ears flattened. It bared its teeth, a low growl rumbling in its chest. Then, from the shadows, it appeared. Bigger, faster, eyes gleaming with the cold calculation of a predator who had nothing to lose. The younger wolf circled, muscles coiled, saliva dripping from its jaws. It wasn't just looking for food, it was looking to prove itself. And the old wolf, it was in the way. The foal pressed itself into the dirt, heart pounding. It didn't understand the tension between the two wolves, but it knew death when it saw it. The old wolf was outmatched. Outnumbered? Maybe. Because now, another shape moved in the brush. A second wolf? Or something worse? The younger wolf lunged, not at the foal, but at the elder. Teeth flashed, a snarl ripped through the air. And in that split second, the foal did the only thing it could. It tried to stand. Legs shaking, it pushed itself up, just as a new sound tore through the chaos. Not a howl, not a snarl. Hooves. Galloping, fast, and getting closer. The herd? Had the Mustangs returned? Or was this another kind of danger? The old wolf's head whipped toward the sound. The younger wolf hesitated, and the foal, caught between wolves, between hope and despair, let out one last desperate cry. Just as the ground began to shake, the thunder of hooves grew louder, shaking the earth beneath them. Dust swirled in the air as the Mustang herd burst into view, powerful, wild, and moving like a single force of nature. The lead mare's ears were pinned back, her nostrils flared. She had caught the scent of blood, of fear of wolves, and now she was coming for what was hers. The younger wolf hesitated, torn between the fight and the sudden danger charging toward him. The old wolf seized the moment, lunging with a snarl that sent the rival stumbling back. But it was too late to run. The herd was closing in, their hooves kicking up dirt, their eyes blazing with the fury of mothers and protectors. The foal cried out again, weak but unmistakable. A plea, a call for help. The lead mare's head snapped toward the sound. She saw the foal, her foal, lying in the dirt, the two wolves circling nearby. Her scream of rage split the air as she veered sharply, the herd following like a living wave. The younger wolf turned tail and bolted, but the old one stood its ground, not fleeing, not attacking, just waiting. Why? The mare didn't care. In her eyes, every predator was the enemy. She reared, her front legs striking out, ready to crush the wolf where it stood. The foal let out a panicked squeal, as if trying to stop what was about to happen. At the last second, the old wolf dodged, not away, but toward the foal, as if shielding it. The mare's hooves came down hard, missing by inches. For a heartbeat, everything froze. The mare snorted, her sides heaving, her gaze locked onto the wolf. The herd milled behind her, restless, confused. The wolf didn't growl, didn't bare its teeth. It just lowered its head. Submissive, almost like it was saying, "I'm not your enemy." The mare hesitated. Then, from the edge of the clearing, a new sound cut through the tension, a high-giving howl. Not a wolf. Coyotes, a pack of them, drawn by the scent of blood and weakness. They slunk closer, eyes gleaming, tongues licking hungry jaws. They weren't bold enough to take on the Mustangs, but a lone foal, a wounded wolf, that was easy prey. The old wolf's ears flattened. The mare tensed. The foal shuddered, sensing yet another danger closing in. The coyotes fanned out, surrounding them. The mare stamped her hoof, warning them back, but they didn't retreat. They were calculating, waiting for the right moment to strike. And then movement in the trees. Something bigger, something watching. A shadow detached itself from the brush, silent as death. Taller than the coyotes, broader than the wolf. The lead coyote's head snapped toward it, and in an instant, its bravado vanished. It whined, backing away. The others followed, tails tucked, suddenly more interested in fleeing than fighting. The mare's ears pricked forward. The old wolf went still. The shadows stepped into the light. And what emerged was the last thing any of them expected. The figure that stepped forward wasn't another predator. It was something far more unexpected. A massive grizzly bear, its fur matted with age, its shoulders rolling with slow, deliberate power. But it didn't charge. It didn't roar. It just stood there, its dark eyes locked onto the scene before it. The trembling foal, the tense Mustang mare, the old wolf with its head still lowered in submission. The air grew heavier, thick with the unspoken understanding between these creatures. The bear wasn't here to hunt, at least not yet. It was watching, judging. The mare let out a sharp snort, her muscles coiled tight. One wrong move and she'd strike. The old wolf remained frozen, caught between the bear and the herd. And the foal? It was too weak to even lift its head now, its breath coming in ragged gasps. Time was running out. Then, the bear took a single step forward. The mare reared again, hooves slashing the air. The wolf let out a warning growl, but it was no match for the grizzly's sheer size. The bear ignored them both, its focus entirely on the foal. It sniffed the air, nostrils flaring. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed like it might lunge, that this would end in blood and broken bones. But then, it did something impossible. The bear huffed, a deep, rumbling sound, and turned its head, not toward the foal, but toward the trees, as if it had heard something the others hadn't. A branch cracked, leaves rustled. And then, from the shadows, a second figure emerged. Smaller, sleeker, a mountain lion, its golden eyes glowing in the fading light. It crouched low, tail twitching, every muscle primed to spring. The coyotes had been a threat. This was a killer. The mare's defiance wavered. The old wolf's growl turned into something desperate. Even the bear shifted its weight, uneasy. The mountain lion didn't care about mustangs or wolves or bears. It wanted one thing, the weak, the dying, the foal. It crept forward, silent as a ghost, its gaze never leaving its prey. The mare stamped, trying to drive it back, but the lion didn't flinch. It was used to fear, used to defiance. It knew how this would end. The old wolf let out a snarl and lunged, not at the lion, but in front of the foal, putting itself directly in harm's way. The lion paused, surprised. Then its lips peeled back in a silent snarl. One leap, that's all it would take. The bear let out a sudden thunderous roar, not in attack, but in warning. The lion hesitated, glancing between the massive grizzly and its prey. And that's when it happened. The foal moved. Not much, just a twitch of its legs, a weak attempt to stand. But it was enough to draw every eye in the clearing. The mare whinnied, a sound full of hope and fear. The wolf's ears pricked up. The bear huffed. Even the mountain lion seemed to pause, as if sensing something shift in the air. Then, the foal lifted its head. Its eyes, once glazed with pain, now burned with something else. Determination. Fight. The lion's tail flicked. It tensed, ready to strike. The old wolf bared its teeth. The mare reared. The bear took a step forward. And then, a new sound cut through the chaos. Distant but unmistakable. Human voices. The mountain lion's head snapped up. The bear turned, sniffing the wind. Even the mare stilled, ears swiveling toward the noise. Humans meant danger. Humans meant guns, traps, fire. The lion made its choice. With one last glance at the foal, it melted back into the trees. The bear hesitated, then lumbered after it, disappearing into the shadows. But the humans were getting closer. The mare whirled, hurting the foal with her body, urging it to move. The old wolf stood its ground for a heartbeat longer, staring at the spot where the predators had vanished. Then it turned, meeting the foal's gaze one last time. And then, it ran. The foal tried to follow, legs wobbling. The mare nudged it forward, desperate. They had to go. Now. But the foal was too slow, too weak. And the voices? They were almost here. The foal's legs trembled, but this time they held. With one last surge of strength, it pushed itself up, standing for the first time since the ordeal began. The mare pressed close, her warmth steadying the little one as the sound of human footsteps crunched through the underbrush. A man's voice called out, sharp with concern, "Over here, I see him." A rancher and his daughter stepped into the clearing, their faces etched with worry. They'd been tracking the Mustang herd for days after spotting the injured foal left behind. The girl's eyes widened as she took in the scene. The exhausted foal, the protected mare, and the distant flash of gray fur disappearing into the trees. "Was that a wolf?" she whispered. Her father nodded slowly, a strange understanding dawning in his eyes. "Looks like it. And if I had to guess, that old loner might have just saved this foal's life." He moved carefully, hands raised to show he meant no harm. The mare snorted but didn't bolt, too focused on her foal to flee. The girl knelt in the dirt, pulling a small blanket from her pack. "Easy now," she murmured, wrapping it gently around the foal's shaking body. "You're safe." As they worked to secure the foal for transport, the rancher paused, scanning the tree line. Somewhere out there, the old wolf was watching. A predator that had chosen mercy over instinct. A creature that had defied nature itself. He shook his head, a quiet smile tugging at his lips. "Funny how the wild teaches us things we forget as people," he mused. His daughter glanced up. "Like what?" "Like how strength ain't just about surviving," he said. "Sometimes it's about what you're willing to protect." Back at the ranch, the foal recovered under the girl's watchful care. The mare never left its side, her fierce loyalty a silent promise. And far beyond the fences, under a moonlit sky, the old wolf sat atop a ridge, its ears twitching at the distant sound of mustangs running free. It had no pack, no territory. But for the first time in years, its head was high, its breath steady. The wilderness would always be cruel. But tonight, it had allowed something rare, something beautiful. And as the wind carried the scent of sage and distant rain, the wolf turned and vanished into the dark, not as a hunter, but as something far more extraordinary. A guardian of the wild.